Hi guys, in today's review we'll be on a model by Rapido UK which was initially announced in 2018 for Model Rail Mag, their exclusive models that they do, and it was initially announced by Rapido Trains Inc., so the Canadian Rapido, and around the 2020 mark when Rapido announced they were doing a UK brand, they announced they were taking over the project to make it into a main range. And this is the London Brighton South Coast Railway E1060T. And yes, it does look like a bigger Terrier. So I've been following this project for quite a while and was quite interested in it. I'll tell you which one I went for. As you can guess, it's a pre-grouping one, livery. So I went for the London Brighton South Coast Railway E1 in the March UMBER livery, or brown. Number 137, it's DC ready. The product code for this one is 936006. It's Era 2, and it came out the summer of 2025, June, July time. This does have a next 18-pin socket. It has a Marsh boiler and a Stroudley chimney. It has condensing pipes, and it also has the later smokebox door style. See, I do like my pre-grouping locomotive, so I thought I'd go for this one. So let's jump into the review and see what it's all about, shall we? So here goes. So with your model, you do get an owner's manual and a bag of details to add yourself. So with the owner's manual, I will pick some highlights out like I always do. But on the front, you do get a line drawing. So page 2 and 3 is your content and your prototype history of the model or the class that it is. I believe you don't get a specific history at the bottom for the loco you have or the model you have, but it's nice you get some history. Then the next page you get your running in, what to do. You should run it in for X amount of period. It does say your model has been tested at the factory for 30 seconds. That is not enough time for the gears to mesh or the gears to work together. I normally run mine in for about an hour each way. Might be excessive, but that's what I do. Then the next page, which is page 5, you get your accessories to add if you want to add them yourself, or what's in the zip bag. 1 air brake times 2. You get steam heater pipes times 2, screw link coupler times 2, coupling hooks times 2, upright air brake times 1, upright vacuum pipe times 1. That's all you get in your detail bag. Again, it does say you can custom it yourself however you want to do that. Nothing in there is painted as far as I'm aware. It's just black. I don't know if that's correct or Rapido have been lazy. Then on page 7 it tells you how to oil your loco, what to use, how to take the base keep plate off, which I believe there is, if I've got this correct, 3 screws to take off, and it is a split chassis design, which I'm not a fan of them. Then on page 9 it tells you how to take the body off if you want to get in to oil it or even to DC fit it. I believe there is 6 screws around the outside, basically where the driving wheels are. And then on the back you've got, if you've got any issues, please contact Rapido. There's some stuff in there for the sound, but I am not into that. As we now move on to the front of the locomotive, we do have some guard eyes, knock stuff off the tracks down below. We also have, which I think, or it looks like, a NEM pocket coupler there, small tension lock one. This being a modern day locomotive, it does have metal, painted black, sprung buffers. The housing, or the shanks, are brown, possibly with some lining on. The buffer beam itself is in red with a few rivets on there. We have 4 rivets on each of the buffers, and they're in a circle motion. We also have the number of the locomotive, and this is 137, and it's in the London and Brighton font. We also have a hole there for your details to add if you want to add them from the detail pack, and I believe we have some sort of steam pipe applied to the front of the locomotive. As we move up a little bit more, we do have the usual 3 lamp irons which look to be separately applied, and they do have rivets either side. The running board itself is in black. We have 2 dots in the centre which are for the inside motion, I believe, and then above them we also have some lubrication pots or valves. They're in gold. We don't have the smokebox door or the hinges painted, but they are there, and the door does not open. We have a separately applied, I think it's a metal handrail at the top. On either side of the chimney you can see some gold piping or copper piping going on from the tanks. Then we have a separately applied chimney. Again, this looks to be a metal part, but I could be wrong, and it's applied quite well. There's no air gap as far as I am aware. And then we also have, above the handrail, we also have a lamp iron as well. So now we come on to the side of the locomotive, and both sides are exactly the same apart from one difference as far as I can see, and that one difference is between the tanks and the cab. There is a Westinghouse pump, I believe that's what it is, round the other side, and I believe that's a separately applied part as well, and it looks great. So we do have inside motion, which I believe has been picked out in red. They also line up with the two dots at the front of the locomotive just below the door. Again, that's a nice touch, you can see it as it's moving. They don't move like the Dapple one, but it's a nice touch. If we go up a little bit, we do see these condensing pops, I want to call them. I could be wrong. They're in copper, and they look to be a separately applied part depending on which model you have. I believe some models have them and some don't. Again, above that we have some steam pipes and some handrails. Them handrails themselves do look a bit plastic. Then down below from that condensing pipe, which is what I'm going to call it, we do have, I think, a builder's plate, which I believe says Brighton 1877 works. If I have that correct, I believe that's what it says, and it is legible, you can read it. This model does have tons of lining. As you tell, the livery for this is in the London and Brighton umber brown, and we have a lining of gold, black and gold. It's over the splashers, it's two lots are on the boilers, it's over the tanks as well, and it's all around the cab. The cab itself does have the initials of the company. I have gone for this version, which has London, Brighton and South Coast initials on the tank. Again, these tanks could be metal, I am unsure. And then as we head to the cab area itself, the cab area has the number on, which is 137, that's on the bunker. We have some hand grabs again going into the cab, which I believe are plastic. They feel plastic to me, they could be metal. We have some steps going into the cab. Again, them steps are lined. We also have the running board itself, again that has lining on it. The wheels don't have lining as far as I am aware, but we do have some sanding parts which are separately applied. We also have some brake shoes and brake rigging applied. The rods themselves, I'm not too sure if they are metal or plastic, but no, in Rapido they are plastic. And there's some other details underneath as well. The axles on the wheels have been covered up too. So as we now move on to the part that most people look forward to in a modern day steam loco review, and that is the cab detail. So yes, this does have a firebox glow on analog. I'm unsure if it's a flicker on DCC, but at least we have the glow, and it doesn't look too bad in my opinion. Just like the Terriers from Hornby and Dapple, into the cab we do have one of the splashes. Again, this is correct because they are quite a small 060 locomotive. I don't think we have any wood flooring inside either, but the flooring is black, I believe. The four windows that are in the cab, they are separately applied glazing, I believe, and on the inside you can see a few rivets where the glazing or the windows would be held in place. The cab painting inside itself, I think, is in a tanned colour. We also have detail inside the cab, which is correct for any modern day locomotive. So we do have fake water in the water glasses. We also have everything painted in its correct colours as far as I'm aware. I can't see any dials in there, but I could be wrong with my eyes. I can't see any dials or anything like that. But there's taps, there's a handbrake, and some other valves as well. And onto the bit of the cab that leads onto the bunker. I believe there's a handbrake there, which is painted in black. And then we have the tan colour as well on that back head, along with the glazing as well. Overall, it's not a bad looking cab. As we now move on to the back of the locomotive. On the back of the locomotive we do have some guard irons. We also have, I believe it's an M pocket coupler, but I could be wrong. We also have sprung buffers again, like the front. There's some riveting, there's also some holes for your details. The buffers themselves are the same as the front, so the buffer shanks, I believe, or housing is in brown, the buffer beam is in red. There's a hole for your detail, I think there's a steam pipe on there as well, and we have the number. And we have the circular motion that connects the buffers to the buffer beam. As we move up, just set back a bit, we have 3 small lamp irons. We also have, which I believe is a toolbox at the back. Much like the Terrier, but slightly bigger, the back is. Again, it's in the umber brown. with lining. We also have a coal grab or rail. Again, that is separately applied as well. There's coal inside. You can see the windows, they have been coloured or picked out in the gold. We also have some bars at the back for the windows as well. Not sure if they are separately applied or part of a moulding. They are in a silver colour and they look quite nice. And then we come to the cab roof. As we now do an aerial view on top of the locomotive, starting in the usual places, which is the coal area. So like I said, we do have a coal grab or coal rails. They do look to be separately applied and made of plastic. There's also a coal insert in there as well. I'm not sure if it can be removed or not, but it looks good to me. The whole back of the bunker from the cab backwards is set in a little bit on the chassis, again, which is correct. As we move to the cab roof itself, the cab roof itself is in a cream or white. It has a few rivets. It also has the rain ducts facing the other way, so it's facing towards the coal and the safety valves. It's a little different. And then I believe we have a metal whistle on top. There's no vents or anything on it because that's correct. Looking at the safety valve seems to be a separately applied part. It is in the umber brown. Again, I don't know if that's meant to be an umber brown or a different colour. We also have the glazing on the windows. You can also see they've also picked the spectacles out in the gold colour. Where the tanks are, we also have a water filler cap. We have some handrails on there. We also have some other stuff sticking on the tanks on one side, and the other side doesn't have them. There's 4 things. Not quite sure what they are. They could be lamp irons. There's no lining between the cab and the chimney. We have a dome. The dome itself is separately applied. A little bit of a gap between it. We have handrails either side, which I believe are plastic. Then between the dome and the chimney, we have 2 bits of lining, which is gold, black and gold. And on one side of the locomotive, we do have some other extra piping going from the cab all the way down to the chimney area. We have, I believe, what I'm going to call them the condensing stuff, which could be a plastic piece or metal. I'm not too sure myself. They seem to be separately applied. Like I said before, the chimney feels like plastic. This model does have Marsh boiler and a Stroudley chimney. It also has the latest style smoke box door. But again, it's separately applied. And if you look carefully enough, between the buffers themselves and the front of the locomotive, there is quite a gap, which again is correct. And finally, as we come to do a underneath look at this locomotive. If you want to DCC your model, you have to take, I think there's 6 screws, so they're basically where the driving wheels are. And I believe it's the next 18 pin, but I could be wrong. All the driving wheels do pick up, I believe it is a plunger, because this is a split chassis design. The base keeper itself, you have 3 screws to take off, and then you get inside, I think it's the middle wheels that are geared. You have then couple of lever end, the end where the cab is, I believe there is some sort of cylinder there. Again, it's all painted in black. You can also see the steps and the brake rigging from this view as well. The brakes itself do line up with the wheels. There also is some separately applied sanding pipes through all of the wheels, and all the wheels are metal. So yeah guys, that's it on the tracks. Next up will be the usual points test that I do. I do believe this model does have a flywheel though. So here goes, here's the usual points test and second radius. Little stumble there. What's that? Just after the 20. Again, 20. So yeah, if I'm honest with you guys, it's quite disappointing. It struggled on the second radius, especially at low speed, and it also struggled with some of the points, especially one at the end, just here. It sometimes stopped. And yeah, there was a grinding noise coming from it. I don't know why. There's plenty of lubrication and oil in there from the factory. So next up there will be a slow speed test and a running session, and I'll see you at the end. So here goes. Not bad. 20 again, not bad. So yeah guys, that's the end of the running session and the review. Before I give my opinion, I do what I normally do, which was tell you which was stock. It was Pullen, and I went for some sort of pre-grouping style train. It's not all pre-grouping or real liveries, but yeah, there we go. So we had a South Eastern Chatham brake van, some South Eastern Chatham rolling stock. We had Caledonian Railway stuff. We had London, Brighton, South Coast Railway stuff. We had some Dad's Army, and then we had something from Derbyshire. Mixture of stuff, mainly Rapido stuff, to go along with the locomotive. I believe these were, in real life, they were a shunting or pilot locomotive. So a small rake isn't too bad. So before I go into my opinion, I'll do the price for these. So if you buy these direct from Rapido, if they have them in stock, you are talking 165 to 164, depending on the preference and delivery. That's the prices from Rapido again. It's an 060T. So yeah, from a model shop, again, it's 141, 140. Again, depending on the model shop, also depending on delivery. And I got mine from Tops, and I paid £153, which is a family run business, so I don't really mind paying that price. Some may say it's high, some may say it's okay. I don't mind paying that. So, my opinion now. If I'm honest with you, I am superly disappointed with the model and the issues I've had. So, in a minute, I'll put a clip up of it making its noise when it first came to me, and that was backwards and forwards. I ran it in for an hour and 10 minutes each way, and it disappeared after that time each way. So I'll put the clip up now and you can hopefully hear it. You should have heard it during some of the running session as well. So yeah, that was the noise that it was making. Again, like I said, I ran it for an hour and 10 minutes each way, and it went. Now it's come back again a day later. When I do my reviews, I normally do the detail part first, then run it in. With this, I did it the other way around just to see if it had a flickering firebox or glow on the website. Rapido or any website wasn't sure if it had it or not. So I checked and I heard that. I thought I'll run it in first. So that was one issue. In the box, the sanding pipes came off, 2 of them came off. Again, with my eyesight, it was a pain in the bum to get back in, but they are in. The motor is loud. I did run some other split chassis designed models that I have in my collection, and they are not as loud. There is also no traction, the wheels struggle. This struggles to go around second ranges on a Gauge Master Combi controller, anywhere between 20 and 25. This is a DC ready version and it struggles to do it. It also struggled on some of my points. Again, don't know why. And like I said to earlier, it has a split chassis. I don't know the pros and cons of a split chassis this day and age. I honestly thought they were old hat, old technology, but Rapido seems to be doing them on much larger locomotives. Hornby did the Terrier, Dapple did the Terrier, and they were standard chassis. Well, I don't understand why Rapido didn't go down that avenue, but they didn't. Again, that could be some of the issue, I am unsure. So for me, disappointing. Could I recommend one? Not my one, I couldn't recommend this, but I would wait to see other people's reviews and opinions on it. But personally, it would be a big fat no for me. Just wait for a sale. But overall, it does look a bit of eye candy. It is a lovely looking locomotive. I am sorry the review is a little bit negative, but I don't know what else to say. I am just disappointed. Hopefully I'll see you in the next review, so please take care and goodbye.